Look at this. Look, we have the story from Bloomberg. This is funny. China pushes Russia conspiracy theory about U.S. labs in Ukraine. Russia, wouldn't just put Russian. I don't know why they titled it that way. Foreign ministry urged U.S. to name viruses stored in labs.
I wonder
Beijing
if the word
has yet to call Russia's military action an invasion.
I bet the word Russia gets better clicks, better internet search results than
That's
Russian.
Right. That's why they did it.
You a fan of that biolab? Name 3 of their viruses. Sorry.
Yeah.
And this is literally the same. These are the same types of headlines that we saw at the beginning of the COVID pandemic with when people were pushing the lab leak theory. I'll never forget the one from the Washington Post when they literally said Tom Cotton is repeating a conspiracy theory about COVID that has already been debunked.
Right.
Like this is the same exact game plan that they did when COVID started with the lab, when they covered for the lab leak from China.
What I'm starting to notice is when you debunk something, it doesn't mean that it wasn't right.
Well, the difference today between disinformation and something that's true is only a couple weeks or months now.
Or
Yep.
days, yeah.
Well, yeah,
or even
doesn't mean it wasn't
days
right.
in this case.
Biolabs itself was a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But it's because what they do is, if you bring up to a journalist, what's up with these biolabs in Ukraine? They immediately retreat to the mott and go like, oh, U.S. doesn't have biolabs in Ukraine. He's like, whoa.
That's not what I
didn't
said.
say U.S.
Right.
I said, what's up with these biolabs? So what happens is you'll get a regular person. And like I've experienced this. It's really funny. You know, people shouldn't play games with me because I know what I'm talking about. And I'll say something and they'll, this is a really good example. So I'll give you a hypothetical, but because I don't want to violate anyone's privacies, but so you'll say something like, did you guys hear about, you'll be at a party and you'll be like, do you hear about these biolabs in Ukraine now? Now they're confirming it. Russia, of course, probably is not happy with it. And then someone goes, there's no U.S. biolabs in Ukraine. You're making that up. And then I'm just like, I never said U.S. A regular person, though, might be like, of course there, I was reading about it. And then they'll pull up on their phone and they'll say, there are no U.S. biolabs. See, everybody, he was wrong. That's what they'll do. And people will conflate these stories and not realize it.
My favorite
Don't play
thing-
games with me because I'm going to be like, I didn't say U.S.
My favorite
Get
part
out
is
of here.
that's the stuff you talk about at parties.
It's
So
well,
important.
Are you serious?
No,
Of course
I am serious. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
of
it.
course I do.
Also-
I walk into a party and I grab a beer and I'm like, how about that biolab? And everyone's like, oh, yeah, and we're all drinking.
I just got to say, I really hope they're not eating bat soup in Ukraine.
Seriously.
Because that's the most logical explanation of where biological weapons
That's where it
come
came
from,
from.
right? You were a conspiracy theorist if you thought that the virus, which was first infecting people right near a biological weapons research lab, was made in a biological weapons research lab instead of coming from a bat.
So what happens is you've got all these labs in Ukraine and China's saying like, tell us what viruses are in it. In like a month, all of a sudden, there's like 12 new viruses that emerge in Ukraine. And then the mainstream media goes, that was an armadillo. That one was a pangolin.
Ukraine's bat
That one was a
infestation
seagull."
problem is out
No,
of
it's
control.
got to be a different animal for each
animal.
different virus that
But
emerges
the-
from the biolab.
But the sad thing is it's serious. Like when I was at the Daily Caller back when COVID first started, we were one of the first news outlets that ran stories about the potential for that this virus came from a lab, and we got dinged on Facebook for it. The way Facebook works is the way you get one of those fact checks on your post.
Yep.
Is a fact checker has to write an actual story. One of their certified fact checkers has to write a story about your post, and you get dinged. And if you get a certain amount of them, you get your account demonetized. We got one for running lab leak stories. Like, this is the media and big tech and the deep state working together to suppress information that they don't want the public to know.
But they apologized, of course, right?
Oh
They
well, yeah.
apologized.
Eventually, eventually when it all came out.
Oh, I'm kidding. They actually did? That's
Well,
impressive.
no, they didn't
Remember,
apologize.
oh,
No, of course,
okay.
they didn't
Yeah, look at
apologize.
that,
But
look
when
at
the
that.
info finally came out that actually there is merit to the lab leak story, they stopped the censorship.
Remember when what was that guy's name? Andy Stone is the guy from Facebook. He's on Twitter. And he's like, the Hunter Biden laptop story is, disinformation over. So we're suppressing it to make sure it can't be shared. And then Twitter did. And then like a month later, they're like, oh, that story was real. Like they publicly brag about suppressing pertinent information to an election.
And
It happens.
And that guy too used to work for the DCCC and Barbara
Yep.
Boxer and a bunch of other Democrats too. So you had this Democrat comms guy who now works at Facebook talking about how they're censoring a story that's unfavorable to the then Democrat candidate for
You
president.
know what concerns me right here is that there's going to be a leak. This is the narrative. Okay, the two biggest fears in the world right now: COVID and Russia. That there's going to be a leak in Ukraine, and they're going to blame it on Russia, and it's going to be another pandemic.
Well, so that's exactly what we heard with Marco Rubio just in the other segment. Rubio saying there's no doubt in your mind, Ms. Newland, that if there's a biotech, it is Russia. Yes.
The priming.
Now, if something happens, they're gonna be like, "We told you it was Russia.
course.
Time for us
Dude,
to invade."
the
This is
confluence
Marco,
of events.
Marco Rubio
Yo,
in
yo,
Newland
yo.
said it was going to be Russia.
How conspiratorial do you want to get?
Very.
70%.
Remember when
80%.
Bill Gates recently was talking about weaponized smallpox?
Yeah.
What was that
No.
story again?
What an odd thing to talk
Yeah,
about.
you want
Odd
to
thing
pull it up
say.
real
Yeah, I
quick? See if
can
you can
see
pull
what
it
we
up.
can find.
There was a story where it was like Bill Gates was talking about treatment for like weaponized smallpox.
He's like, we speculated it would evolve from a bat.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be a different animal. They're gonna
Yeah.
be like, this time it's a penguin.
It's like,
Penguin.
look at these penguins. They're going to give us weaponized smallpox.
It was a hamster.
The penguins will fight back.
Yeah,
Hamster
this is
soup.
Bill Gates
Hamster
warns of weaponized smallpox just after FDA approves his new pox drug. This is from November 29th, 21. 2020.
So that was actually recently. So this is the Independent. Yeah, so we have it right here. Bill Gates warns of smallpox terror attacks as he seeks research funds.
Yeah.
Now, look, this just
Sus.
could be, him being like, I'd like money, please.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should pay attention to what powerful global elites are saying about stuff when you have people like Rubio saying there could be a bio attack.
So it could be a smallpox thing.
I don't know. I don't know if these things are connected. I don't like speculating.
I just want to get on the record saying it now so that in 6 months, if it does happen, people know that I was thinking it.
I'll put it this way. You can take it the pessimistic, nefarious route and assume Bill Gates knows something, or we can trust Bill Gates. He warned us about weaponized smallpox. Now we're hearing Russia might do a bio attack.
Dude,
Maybe
Bill Gates was
is
funding
right.
Eco Health Alliance, which was working.
Can you think of a more
funding.
trust-
Oh, did you not? Is that not on the? I
don't know.
I thought he was for sure. Is that not
I
right?
know that the NIH was, but
And he
was
was-
Bill Gates doing it?
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know. That's you got to be
Yeah,
very
our
careful.
government
Yeah,
does.
man. I
Gotta be
just
very
keep my-
precise.
I got to keep my mouth shut.
You
guys are really
I'm not saying
smart.
you're wrong.
You
I'm
could
saying
get-
fact check it. Fact
You
check
could
it.
get fact checked for it.
Yeah.
No, but like let's make sure we're accurate.
Yeah,
Was
I wanna find this
Bill
out.
Gates in any way providing funding to Eco
Yeah,
Health?
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
They did.
I'm looking at it now.
See if you can find anything. So I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to give Bill Gates the benefit of the doubt, even though I don't like the guy, and say, okay, maybe he's right and knows something about the potential terror attacks.
Yeah, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation committed a $1.5 million grant to the Eco Health Alliance in 2020.
See, there you were right. Ian.
Yeah,
You know, I was just saying, just
You're
make sure you
correct.
fact check it because we got to be
Yeah.
very precise.
I knew that, so
Yeah.
I wanted to let him find out. So we knew that.
We were just testing Ian.
Checking.
That info comes from influencewatch.org.
But is
That's
that
a good-
is that a
sounds
legitimate?
good.
Is that a
source?
legit
I don't know how to
website?
check. I don't
Yeah.
have.
Let's see.
It's a nonprofit.
Watch.org.
Oh no, they're talking about an
gonna check
Eco
it out.
Health.
Bill Gates celebrates
Oh, is that-
collaboration with NIH.
From GatesFoundation.org. Also, is that right?
Let me see.
They're pretty
All right,
overt
well,
about it.
there you go. I mean, honestly, it's not far fetched to believe that Bill Gates is providing this financial assistance to this organization. I mean, he talks about vaccines all
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
it's on the
and-
Gates Foundation website
Well, there
to
you go.
support India's Ministry of Animal Husbandry, whatever.
So let's just go ahead and say maybe Bill Gates, when he warns of smallpox terror attacks, kind of knows something we don't. I'm not saying he's malicious. I'm not
Right.
saying it's a conspiracy. I'm saying maybe he's right. Maybe he's right, and we should be worried. I'll just tell you this. Whatever you want to believe, that there's a grand cabal planning these things and Bill Gates is involved, or Bill Gates is a superhero who's saving people, there seems like a risk of smallpox terror attacks. So I don't know what you do. Do you just, buy emergency food and hide
Buy
underground?
emergency food.
Yes, hide your
I'm
face.
going-
Prep with tunes,
I'm
obviously.
I'm gonna buy some shipping containers and bury them and crawl into it and
Die.
You know what? I've heard shipping containers are not the way to go though, because they cave in.
Yeah, and they're also
they're
very
not
dirty.
made. They're not really made to
Right.
sustain weight.
geodesic
Top down.
domes, right,
Yeah.
Ian?
Yeah, but they leak. That's the biggest problem with them. I've been doing a lot of research on those too.
Okay, how about we get giant floating domes?
Well, so you know what the real
Suspended
flex
by
is?
massive
You
hot air
vacuum them
balloons.
out. You create like
There we go.
Well, you got to live in it.
No,
you create a chamber. It's like a boat. You vacuum out the boat area of it so it floats.
The real flex is not that you go to an underground layer when it hits the fan. It's that you force your enemies into an underground layer.
Yeah.
Can we make something strong enough to withstand a large enough vacuum to actually float on?
Yeah, I think
air?
it's going to be a metamaterial like aerogel.
Graphene.
Yeah, like a graphene aerogel. And then what you do is you create a bunch of little pockets of holes inside of this boat, and then you vacuum out all these little pockets of holes. So you've got like a lighter than air thing. And then if it's big enough, it should be able to carry people and farms and stuff.
so that it's so it would be
Floating
as a
island.
whole. It would be it's not the mass. It's the displacement of gases.
And then you strap an ion thruster on it and fly it around.
I
What do you
Ian's
think,
onto
Greg?
Something.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I don't know, but Lydia, I just back to our topic, or talking about biolabs. Check out the tweet that I just DM'd you. It's
Back to reality.
It's it's a guy writing for Foreign Policy, and it's foreignpolicy.com, like, the preeminent foreign policy magazine, and he says Russia helped create and is now actively amplifying a conspiracy theory claiming the invasion of Ukraine is being done to destroy U.S.-run bioweapons facilities. And he says the wildest part, people believe it.
Yeah, so this is from March 2nd. So it's
Really?
a
few days ago, and now it's getting,
we know
and
it's
now,
true.
now it's
right?
getting but this is the thing. It's like, foreign policy. That's that's held up as like this, by the establishment as this,
What's,
this trustworthy news outlet.
That's
and
the title, yeah.
This is it. False claims of U.S. biowarfare labs in Ukraine grip QAnon.
QAnon.
Right. Well, look, I got no problem saying I don't see why we have to talk about U.S. bio labs or whatever.
Right,
like,
sure,
if you want to fact check that, like, by all means, I'm not. If Ukraine has bio labs, sounds like it's a fact because Victoria Nuland said they did. Now the question is this a motivating factor for Russia? I don't know, because Russia, their demands of Ukraine are give them Donbass, give them Crimea, and don't join NATO or the EU.
Right.
I didn't see any demands from Russia where they were like, get rid of these biolabs.
Interesting.
So I think the story could be a stretch, to say the least. But I just love how they this is a trick. Look, if you've been watching the show for some time, you know the trick, because I tell you all the time. You'll have Ian, and he'll do a backflip, and the media will write, did Ian really do a backflip on Sunday?
Yeah.
False.
Yeah.
While Ian did do a backflip, it was actually at midnight on Saturday, which is technically not Sunday. Although technically it is. We rate this claim false.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It was
Technically.
11:59 and 58 seconds by the atomic clock standard. Unfortunately for Ian, his clock was
It
2 minutes
was
fast.
actually Monday in Australia when he did the backflip
Yeah,
on Sunday. False. Partly true.
Partly true.
Right.
It's not a U.S. lab, or Ukrainian labs, and then they're not bio-warfare labs. They're just bio labs. So if you put bio-warfare, it's going to be called false too,
Right.
according
You
to
see
the
these-
girl that
you see
said-
these games they're playing with this stuff.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Man, I love this one.
Extremely sneaky.
PolitiFact just goes nuts with it. Bloggers say Putin bombs Biden-owned villa in Ukraine while hammering biolabs in pedo rings.
Whoa.
What? All right, well, I'm going to give you that one, PolitiFact. That sounds like...
Saying that is a little.
This is the problem. It's because there'll be like a guy wearing like a nice suit, and he'll be like, I'm concerned about these biolabs in Ukraine. And then there'll be like a crazy guy with a tinfoil hat next to him going like, you're right, the U.S. is funding them and there's pedos. And then the
Yeah.
fact checker goes, I'm going to run with that one.
Or those two people actually hate each other in real life, but the media associates them with one another,
Right.
as is the case with the infamous conspiracy theory pyramid that I reviewed and debunked on my channel. The whole point is you want to link people who have basically nothing in common other than the fact that they're questioning the official narrative.
There's a comic that's being shared by all of these leftists, and it's the weirdest thing. And it shows a guy sitting on a couch with what appears to be his wife or something. And he's got a shirt with an American flag, and he's wearing a red hat. And I'm like, gee, I wonder what that's supposed to symbolize. And he's watching the news, and he says, Russia says they're just taking back what's rightfully theirs. And then the woman goes, Alaska was Russia's, 60 years ago or something. And I'm like, is this implying that the America First anti-interventionist populist MAGA people are like defending Russia's invasion of Ukraine? Like, I don't understand. Like, it makes no sense.
You can try to do an honest analysis of Putin's motives and reject a lot of the propaganda coming from the warfare state and the industrial military complex and their lackeys in the media without supporting Putin or his invasion.
Right. Well, Tim, to your point, what they're doing is exactly what you say. They can't find anyone in real life who actually supports Putin. They can't find Republicans who support Putin. So they have to create this little comic. This is the whole of Twitter is imagining someone and then getting mad at that person.
Right.
Like that person literally doesn't exist, but you're going to sling bows and arrows at him because it's easier.
The best they can do is find Republicans who Putin supports, at least according to them.
Right. Exactly. They're trying. They're really trying. And it's kind of sad because there are actually real things that we could be working toward fixing together, but no, it has to be Russia. And even now,
We don't have any problems that need fixing right
you're
now, Lydia.
Yeah, you're right.
We're good.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.